Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. You know that feeling when you read a book and you think, I just want to tell people how much I enjoyed it? Well, this video is that feeling. It's my review of John Scalzi's Lock-In. I put this book on my TBR about 400 years ago. Okay, maybe not that long ago, but it feels like forever. So long ago, in fact, that I cannot remember for the life of me why I put it on there. And then I went to the library and I saw it and I thought, do you know what? Why not? So at that point, I didn't really have any idea what the plot was. I didn't really know what it was about the book. I didn't even know what genre of book it was. But I just thought, this is a book I've wanted to read. It's there. Let's read it. And I was so pleased that I did. I gave this 4 stars on Goodreads overall. For me, it was a really enjoyable read. I found that I really got into the story and was wanting to keep reading it all the time. And there were a lot of really good things about it. I loved the way it was kind of, the intrigue was created and that you were gripped into the story because you wanted to see what was going to happen. I think that is quite key for me as a reader, that I need to feel a sense of a motivation to keep reading. What is going to happen in the story? And this book did that really well. It was quite mysterious. Someone is murdered quite early on and you don't know what happened. There are mysterious circumstances, and I think that, for me, kept me going. Another massive plus for me is that it's seriously easy reading. There's nothing complicated, it's not hard work, it's not heavy going, it's just an enjoyable read, which is, what is the purpose of reading if not for enjoyment? Now I know some people have turned this into a criticism and they say, you know, that it's too easy reading, it's just too simple, there's not enough depth, that the characters are too flat, but do you know what? I enjoyed it. As I said, when I picked the book up, I didn't really know what genre it was, so it came as a really nice surprise to me when it was kind of a sci-fi, crime, mystery, thriller thing, because that's a genre that I really enjoy. It reminded me a lot of The Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov, which is a book that or a series that I've been reading recently and really enjoying, so if you like that, you'll probably enjoy it too. Another massive, massive plus for me that wouldn't keep me reading a particular book, but it delights me when I see it, was the diversity of the characters in the book. One of my favourite moments was when 2 characters were just talking and then a reference was made to one of the men's husbands, but nothing else was said about it. It was just, yeah, he's his husband. So you were aware that the characters were gay, but that was it. It wasn't in there because that was really integral to the story. It was in there because it's perfectly normal, and I loved that. Another thing which I didn't notice when I read it, but I saw in a few reviews afterwards, was the lack of reference to ethnicity and gender. And actually, even some of the characters' names are non-gender specific. They could apply to either gender. And I loved the theory that that was done intentionally because actually the gender and the ethnicity were irrelevant. And that was fantastic. Let me talk about some of the negatives. Now, there weren't many for me. Fundamentally, it's a good story, and I think that overrides negatives. As long as you've got a good story that's interesting and is keeping you reading, who cares about the little niggly things? Not me. However, there is a little niggle right at the start of the book. The first couple of pages throw science at you and new vocabulary and things like that in a really intense way, and at that point I nearly stopped reading. Thankfully it is only a couple of pages, literally I think it was 3 or 4 pages, and then the story is quite easy reading, but I was scared at that point that it was going to continue that way. It is very technical, a lot of background info. Another weird negative was I hadn't realised until I read some of the book aloud to my son, because we do that, and I hadn't realised how often the author says said. Until I was reading it aloud and saying said, and then it got really, really annoying, and after that I couldn't unnotice it. It made me realise how much the book was reliant on speech, which doesn't offend me, but as I say, once I'd noticed it, it was really difficult to unnotice, and equally he could do with a few more synonyms for said. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it. I think that it was really good to get into a book that isn't pretentious, isn't trying too hard. It's just a nice, easy reading thriller, sci-fi, crime, mystery, all those things tied together. So I really do recommend it. If you've read it, let me know, because I'd love to know what you think, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.